Okay, so I already had a video for this topic already recorded, and I didn't really go to much lengths to set up for this one either. I didn't go much lengths to set up the last one, but I set up the background, not the video quality instead, so yeah, that was stupid of me. But there were some other stupid things I said there, mostly because I was miffed at this guy who just wouldn't shut up. Like, he was arguing tooth and nail for a pointless argument. It is a very subjective argument, and that's what my original topic was going to be about. And I decided that's probably not the way to go. See, this very subjective topic was on whether or not Monster Hunter World is really the 5th Monster Hunter game, or if it can even be considered a spin-off. The original video that I commented on claimed that Nintendo had spin-off in stories, so I refuted they have a spin-off in Poke Poke Village, which is true. But then I kind of continued my comment even farther, saying that if anything, Monster Hunter World could be considered a spin-off, as a direct attack at Capcom's idiocy of calling certain titles a spin-off, that being Monster Hunter Portable 3 and Cross. And this guy who didn't quite feel like I was in the right there, decided to argue why these games are spin-offs, why Monster Hunter World isn't, and why it's the 5th title of the series. And to be quite honest, the way he argued wasn't a good style of arguing. In the end of it, neither of us moved either's opinions, and yeah. But he was just... I told him to stop a few times when I realized it was going nowhere, and he refused to. And almost every time he refused to, he left himself wide open for me to just comment back, which is what I did. And then I told him, dude, I already told you, it's over. You're not going to convince me, and I'm not going to convince you. So instead of just spouting out whatever, just shut up already. And he continued to do so. Not until I changed which YouTube account I was using to upload from a music channel, and I haven't been on my own account in a couple days since, because, well, recording Devil Survivor. And now that I'm done recording that and uploading all that, I did respond to one of his comments, but the comment chain that we were originally commenting on is pretty much dead at this point. And there's another comment chain that we were on where he pretty much continued the same argument that he was continuing for the one that I commented on. And that one's a little bit of a different argument. And honestly, I don't think either of us are really qualified to argue on that one. First off, because I live in America, and second off, because this guy apparently is just a Japanese enthusiast. I'm not sure what his deal is. I checked out his channel, he's got 3 trailer videos, and that's it. And they're for American games. So I don't know where this guy lives, I would assume America, but his name suggests he's in Japan. So it's an argument that neither of us really should be arguing, because it was over whether or not there is the existence of Xbox over in Japan, which we have confirmed, both of us have confirmed, Xbox 360 is. However, as for Xbox One, hell, you could even argue it doesn't even exist here in America at this rate. Because I still have yet to see somebody with an Xbox One system, and I have plenty of friends, so... I think I saw one person actually, but that's one out of how many? And considering the number of systems sold, That's not good for Xbox. That means that maybe one person's buying the systems over and over and over, which I guess is good for their financial standing, but I don't think that's good for their advertisement standing, because once they release something new, if this guy that bought the one thing over and over and over again doesn't know about it, they're not going to buy it, I guarantee you. Of course, that's a stretch. It's all theorizing. Anyways, that's not even what this is supposed to be about, and I've already spent 5 minutes on it. What this is supposed to be about is toxicity in the Monster Hunter community. Now, since this pretty much already existed to begin with Nintendo getting Monster Hunter, because originally Monster Hunter was a Sony-type franchise. Of course, what most Sony fanboys forget to account for is the fact that Capcom is a third-party developer. And they've even set out reasons for why they wanted to come over to Nintendo. And hell, while they were over on Nintendo, they were still, in Japan anyways, they were still releasing titles for the PlayStation, so they're salty for nothing. This is an America exclusive thing. But, Capcom pretty much, for that first time, when they went to Nintendo, released one last title for the PlayStation Portable, and called it a spin-off. Doesn't make any sense, does it? Oh, and to make matters worse, that title was released in Japan only, as a continuation of a series that we already had over here. So, on top of that, we also didn't get Monster Hunter DOS, because they left that in Japan. That's actually something I had to look up. I originally thought Monster Hunter DOS and Monster Hunter Portable 2 were the same game. Turns out I am way wrong. But at the time when I was arguing, I didn't know this. I decided to look it up after the guy brought up the fact that they were completely different games, and it turns out he's right. And that's an unfortunate fact, because that means we're never going to get to play the official second game. To us here in America, the only game that is ever going to be considered the second is Portable Second. And the only game that's ever going to be considered third is the one on the Wii U, because we didn't... Well, we did get the version on the Wii. I still want to get that version too. But I don't think it really got popular to the Wii U, so I'm just going to say 3 Ultimate anyways. We're never going to get to see 3 be the third. Or Portable 3 be the third. Which it, in storyline-wise, should be the third. Or fourth, now I think about it, because if you want to add in DOS, DOS is technically in front of 1, and then we go to the Portable series. Sorta. Can I just say Portable 2 and DOS go on at the same time? I mean, they're completely different settings, but hell, Capcom doesn't make things easy. It's a very, what was the word the angry video game nerd used for this kind of thing? It's a very chronological, confusing thing. Let's put it that way. But over here in America, we didn't get much to start with. So, and I can't really justify us getting much at the very start either, considering the fact that, well, the series is more popular in Japan at the time than here. Now we're starting to equal out, now that the series is gaining traction over here in America. But I'll talk about that a little bit later. So, then we get Monster Hunter on Nintendo. Now we got Sony fanboys here in America just upset over the fact that what was considered a Sony exclusive franchise is now on Nintendo only. And that's where the toxicity begins. Because now we got salty Sony fanboys. But I'll give them this. They bought 3DSs, they bought the original. They got the 3 Ultimate and 4 Ultimate. I think they ignored 4 and 3 just because they were on completely different systems. And I'm guaranteeing you they didn't buy the Wii U port of 3 Ultimate, even though that, in my opinion, is the definitive version of 3 Ultimate, but let's not go into that. So yeah. I'm speaking as a majority. There are still Sony fanboys that just dropped this franchise as soon as it went to Nintendo. Can't blame them for that. And then we get Cross. And Cross is an interesting game because the reason that the series is gaining traction while it was over here on Nintendo's side of things, I said over here on Nintendo's side of things, but I'm really not a console loyalist. I just happen to have a lot of Nintendo consoles. I have a PS2, Xbox 360. I can go over all the systems I have, and honestly, you'll just say I happen to have a lot of Nintendo consoles. I'm certainly not a console loyalist. And that's not even including all the consoles that I have the ability to play. So, anyways, we get Cross, or Generations as it was released here in America, but the reason this game was what gained the series a lot of traction was because before it was released here in America, it was rumored to be only a Japanese exclusive unless we got the series to a certain level of popularity. So, Monster Hunter fans literally did all they could to bring in fans. Not in a toxic way, by the way. I mean, maybe some were, but we were very civil about it. That's what I liked about this franchise, was we knew what we were doing when we were getting people to join our franchise. We were just civil about it. We maybe talked about it a lot, but we certainly weren't like we certainly weren't like Undertale fanboys or Five Nights at Freddy's fanboys, where all we could talk about were theories. No, we talked mainly about the gameplay, and kind of the roleplay aspect, honestly. I remember having plenty of conversations with Michael over at work. You guys have seen him on the channel before, which is why I'm saying his name. But I remember having plenty of conversations with him about Monster Hunter, after he got For You, but I had a couple conversations with him before that, too. I actually was the one that urged him to get For You. We were just at a GameStop and he pointed it out. I'm like, dude, that is cheap. Buy it. And I hate GameStop, by the way. I would not encourage anyone to buy anything at GameStop ever, but that one day was an exception. Anyways, so I was like, dude, you gotta buy this game. They're selling it for cheap, and it is an amazing game. You will not be disappointed. He bought it. We've had a couple of multiplayer hunts. We even started a Skype group, The Guild, in order to communicate with friends on Skype, so that way we could communicate via, so we could communicate while playing video games. Otherwise, why wouldn't we use a Facebook group, you know? And yeah, I remember having plenty of conversations where we would be talking about the weapons and such, how they relate to real life weapons, how they're absurd. I can tell you right now, this was also when I started becoming a bit of a weapons enthusiast, as I started watching Skullgrim and all that as well. And honestly, I mean, I guess I was a bit of a weapons enthusiast to begin with, but I wasn't really collecting them as much as I used, or as much before as I did at that point. It's actually what inspired me to get a Naginata. I mean, besides the fact that I was also reading not Eternal. Yeah. No, not Eternal. Harvest December, that's what it was. Sorry. I was about to say Eternal December, and I was like, wait, that doesn't sound right. Am I mixing Eternal Summer and Harvest December, which, by the way, are two great visual novels, together? And yeah, that's exactly what was going on in my head. Anyways, so yeah, Harvest December was part of what helped urge me on to get a Naginata, but even more so was Monster Hunter, because have you seen the Azoros Naginata? I'll put up a picture of it. Oh, excuse me. That thing looks fucking awesome. I would love to wield something like that. Unfortunately, my Naginata doesn't look exactly like that. I did see a Naginata kind of like that when I was looking for them, but it was beyond my price point. I ended up getting the dragon one instead, which was exactly within my price point. But anyways, so yeah, it inspired some of my weapon decisions. And we had plenty of conversations like that, and to be quite honest, it spurred on other people around us to think, huh, is this game really sparking that much conversation? I should try it. So, they did, and it got more and more and more popular, that's all I'm saying. And that was basically what we were doing for, like, I don't know how many years, I don't even want to count. But that's what we were doing for years. And finally we got Generations, which I was one of the first people on top of getting that game. And I'll tell you right now, it is certainly an awesome game. But apparently Capcom doesn't think so. Over in Japan, again, they released the supposed ultimate version. Here in America is what it would be called, but over in Japan it's considered the G version, Double Cross. And they released it for the Switch, which also is increasing the level of... You'll see what I mean later. But it's Japan only! And they have no plans of localizing it, as their next American planned title is World. And they are playing this around the American audience, so they're changing up the formula quite a bit. Hopefully, I'm assuming they're probably going to use that as a fallback if the idea fails. If the idea fails, you know. But, yeah. On top of this, though, they're not releasing it on any Nintendo platforms. So now, Sony fanboys who dropped the series are now, popping it off, pretty much, whatever you want to say, and saying, oh hell yeah, it's returning back to its origins, which, no, I mean, I guess the original was a PS exclusive, yes, as was the second title, but honestly, the franchise has been on multiple consoles for years in Japan. This is a America type thing. So, over here in America, Sony fans are just like, oh hell yeah, it's returning to its original console. And these Nintendo fanboys are now salty that it's not going to be on their platform, and that they're not getting Double Cross for the Switch, which I am actually in agreement with. We need Double Cross for the Switch. But at this point, I think it's futile arguing that we need it for the Switch, because Capcom's not gonna listen! Capcom never listens! If they did, don't you think we'd have much more Monster Hunter titles available to us here in the US? Because I think we would. There are plenty that we've missed out on. But, that aside, so, with the release of World, we've got this toxicity finally kind of blowing up, and this is worrying me because the more toxic a fan base is, the less enjoyable it is to be a part of. I'm going to use Homestuck as an example. I'm still a huge fan of Homestuck, but when they were at their most toxic, was probably the worst time to be a Homestuck fan. Now, I got into it just as their toxicity was kind of trailing off, but that was only because my girlfriend at the time was actually pretty civil. But we had things like Don't Stop the Homestuck come out and all that, and actually she was kinda toxic about being a fan herself, but not in the same way most fans are normally toxic. It was pretty much all she did at that time was Homestuck. All her fan art, Homestuck. Everything she listened to, Homestuck. Hell, even most of what she watched was just Homestuck memes. So, yeah. I mean, I got into the series at that point, so I can't complain too much. But I think what really kind of dropped the ball for most fans of Homestuck at that time was just the fact that Toby Fox... No, not Toby Fox, excuse me. He's the person that does music. Andrew Hussey was taking so damn long to come up with the next act. And when he did, he killed off all the characters. And I still haven't read past that point. I only heard about it. But supposedly the comic has continued past that. However, that's where most fans dropped it, as I guess they figure that's the end. Which, if you really pay attention to Homestuck, you know that's not the end, as long as there's one character alive, which in Homestuck's case is John Egbert. Yes, we had one character still alive in Homestuck. And that is what killed off any toxicity, but I can't really tell you how bad it was when it started, but supposedly the fan base crashed Tumblr. Yeah. And you know something's toxic if it crashes Tumblr. That's also how the franchise got popular to begin with, or series I should say, or whatever you want to call it. But I don't have much examples with Homestuck, so yeah. But this is why I don't hang around very toxic fan bases. Homestuck was good, and I would probably have enjoyed Undertale, but then we got the toxic fan base that went with it. And if you know anybody from that fan base, you know the story already within the game. This is not how you tell somebody to join a game or play a game. You do not spoil the game for them. Hell, people hate when things are spoiled for them. Some people might like it, but I know more people that hate it than like it. And I am personally one of those people that hates it. If I want to experience something, don't spoil it for me. I might watch maybe a trailer or two. If there's a Let's Player, I might watch a little bit and then trail off just because I haven't experienced it yet, you know? And that's what I'm doing with Hive Swap. I haven't played the game yet. Jacksepticeye actually released a couple videos on it. I watched maybe a couple of minutes of it just to see how good it was, which by the way it looks amazing. And then kind of skip through just to see if there was any interesting things that I'd want to play it for. And I kind of did that for the next couple of videos, to be quite honest. And now I'm pretty much just ignoring his Hive Swap videos. I want them to get popular, which is part of why I clicked on them. But I'm certainly not going to spoil anything. Excuse me. I'm certainly not going to spoil anything for myself. And then we've got the Five Nights at Freddy's fanbase, which single-handedly killed YouTube. So, at least at the time it did. On top of that, it was just nothing but theory videos and all that. It was really annoying. Especially when at the time, the more in thing was to say what you disliked about certain things. So, theories were just kind of a dying art by that point. I mean, I still like theories, don't get me wrong, but I only like theories of things that I can theorize with. Things that I'm enjoying. So, give me a reason to enjoy it first, you know? Before you just make a billion theories. Make sure the franchise is super popular before you made that one theorization, maybe, even. Okay, maybe not. All I'm saying is, we handled getting Monster Hunter popular here in America way better than some of these toxic fan bases, and now Capcom wants to step in and try and make it popular themselves, and now our fan base is starting to grow a little toxic. There are arguments over Capcom's decisions, there's arguments over whether the game's going to be good or not, there's arguments about all this goddamn pointless stuff, and none of these fans can get along anymore. Why? Because Capcom. Capcom made the one damn bad decision to release a game targeted at a certain audience that their original games were not targeted towards, to try and grow their audience, and it's backfiring via the fan base. I'm not sure if it'll work or not. I'm hoping it does, because I know personally a lot of people who haven't played many game systems but started playing more games once the PS3 and PS4 was a thing. Those were like years apart. They started on PS3, but they have also started playing the PS4 too. But I know plenty of people that won't go to Nintendo for their game systems and are just stuck on Sony, and it's only because Sony has all the franchises they want, even if they are shit franchises. And Nintendo tends to not have those. But, yeah, so I'm hoping that helps to get people like my grandpa into Monster Hunter, because he wouldn't touch it unless it was on a system that he plays. So, I'm really hoping changes that kind of mindset, as they now have something to play it on. They don't have any excuse anymore, you know? Other than maybe the price point of a game. But even then, I can just buy them the game. And I think that's what Capcom was thinking, was, let's release a title for those kind of people. At least that's what they were thinking at the time. But then they made the dumb decision to not even give us Double Cross on the Switch. Hell, I'd be fine with the Monster Hunter World game coming out the way it is if we had Double Cross on the Switch. This would calm down the community and cause less toxicity. All I'm saying is, we need to calm down a little bit, look back at the franchise as a whole, and be calm about this. Otherwise, we're just going to be lumped in with other franchises that people hate just for the fact that the fan base is so damn bad. And I know people that are freaking awesome in this fan base. This was one of the best fan bases for me to be a part of. And just arguments and such are starting to kill it off for me, you know? So, I guess this bit of rant was a bit necessary. I really hope things go well for this series after World is released. But for now, things aren't looking too hot for Monster Hunter or Capcom themselves. Because let's be honest, once Monster Hunter drops off, Capcom's in a really bad state then. But yeah, So, if you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe. There are links in the description. Leave some comments if you want. Just don't be, like, arguing or something like that. Like, I might have to quiet you down if it's too, like, maybe not. I'll let you guys argue all you want, but all I'm saying is, please be civil. We don't want things to, like, just blow up in everybody's faces, you know? So, ending rant here. I hope you guys liked the video. If you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe. I'm repeating my outro again. There are links in the description. I shall see you guys in the next video.